Hi, my name is David Bradley. I'm a CPA in Dallas, Texas, and I am the IRS doctor. This video is a little bit of basic information about what to expect when you're dealing with the IRS, who you're going to be dealing with, how they contact you, things of that nature. So, and some of the misconceptions that my clients have before they contact me, of course. So basically what we want to talk about is what's going to happen. See, most fears are unfounded. So the fear of them being put in jail, am I going to be put in jail? Well, the fact remains that the chances you being put in jail are about as much chance you get hit by lightning. It's 1 in 50,000. I don't know what the odds are for getting hit by lightning, but it's most likely not going to happen. And that's what probably 80% of my clients ask me about. Am I going to go to jail for not filing my back tax returns? The answer is no, most likely. Obviously, you've broken federal law, but the IRS is interested in your money and compliance and getting you back in the tax system and not putting you in jail and having to feed you 3 meals a day, right? So kind of put that out of your mindset on going forward on this, because you've got to have a clear mindset. First thing we do when I get a new client and they've called me and says, look, I've gotten this letter, or somebody has called me from the IRS or visited my business or visited my home, is we need to, number one, stop what they're doing. So we need to make contact. So they call us, we have them sign a power of attorney, and then we find out what's going on, what tax returns, what years they've not filed. And then we establish a fee to fix this. So we need to file back tax returns and get compliant, because the IRS will not deal with you until you've filed all of your returns. If you're an individual, it's your 1040 tax return. If you're a business, it could be a 1065 partnership, 1120 corporation, 1120 SS corporation. You may have payroll taxes that need to be filed. Those are 941s and 940s, all these great numbers that you don't really understand. So we do, and we're able to go in and become compliant first, figure out what the number is. Because really, if you owe taxes, irregardless of the amount, it really doesn't matter. It's whether you can afford to pay for those taxes at the time. Now, we know some countries have what are called debtor's prison. The United States does not have debtor's prison. Thank the Lord for that. So all you need to do is get compliant, file all your tax returns, figure out what the number is. It's $1 million, it's 10,000, whatever the number is, and then we figure out how much you could afford to pay on that, if you can afford to pay at all. Because we have clients that can't afford to make a payment and they owe a lot of money. So we put them in what's called non-collectible status, where we evaluate their income and expenses, show that to the IRS, we negotiate, and then sometimes they don't have to make a payment at all on any of the debt going forward for a period of time. They reevaluate it every year or two to see if you start making money. You file a return and you show income, they're going to reinstate it and want to renegotiate a payment. But it stays it, because it keeps them out of your bank account. It keeps them out of your wages and garnishing your wages. Those are the things we need to mitigate. We call mitigation, of stopping them from doing things that are going to cause financial hardship for the taxpayer. You know, there's between 7 and 10 million people a year that don't file their tax returns, and they go underground. They're stressed out. They're always looking over their shoulder. It's just not a way to live. So we go in and improve the quality of people's lives by showing them how to solve these issues. And it's a lot easier, at least in our perspective, because we know what to do, then it's a lot easier than you really think it to be. We always think of people like Wesley Snipes and Willie Nelson and Leona Helmsley and those kind of people that go to jail for not filing their tax returns. Well, some people, Wesley Snipes didn't file for 6 years. He owes, to this day, $23.5 million in taxes. And I was just noticing that he was in tax court here in the last couple of months and trying to do what's called an offer and compromise appeal, and trying to offer less than $900,000. He owes $23.5 million. So they were trying to get almost $10 million from him, thinking he can afford that based upon his assets. Those are things that we look at to figure out, hey, if you do owe a lot of money, do you wait out what's called the statute of limitations? Because the IRS can't collect those taxes and chase you forever. Once they're assessed, they have 10 years in which to collect. After that, they can't collect. Now, there are technicalities to that statute of limitations. We call them tolling events. That means that those can stop. So if you set up, you file an offer in compromise to compromise, you've heard of the term pennies on the dollar. Well, that's what that fresh initiative is with the IRS. Fresh Start initiative is to get you to file an offer and get a clean slate, pay a certain amount or not pay anything at all, or pay a certain amount over a period of time to mitigate that debt. So we go in and help you figure out, do we wait out the statute of limitations? Do we file an offer in compromise? Do we just set up a standard partial payment installment agreement so you can pay that out over 6 or 7 years? It just depends. The IRS will usually accept a 72-month payout on debts that are owed under $50,000. They'll usually go to 84 months on anything above $50,000. Assuming the statute of limitations allows for that. So it's a negotiating stance. So we have to go in and look at the numbers and figure out what you can afford to pay. If they want you to pay $4,000 to pay it off within the statute of limitations, but you can only afford $1,000, you're only going to be paying $1,000 because you can't afford to pay $4,000. It's mathematically impossible for you to pay that amount. So we evaluate that and make sure that you know. So what do you need to know? You got that letter in the mail. The revenue officer showed up at your doorstep asking you for back tax returns and information. They want this done in a week or two. You need to call a professional because you're most likely not going to be able to handle it on your own in that quick of a time because of the fact you haven't done it thus far. So I suspect that an individual, a professional such as myself or another professional that deals with this type of issue can help you and do it a lot more efficiently. And that way you don't have to talk to the IRS. But if you do talk to the IRS, maybe this video will help you a little bit, alleviate some of the fears and guide you and know what you're getting yourself into. There's 250 million returns filed every year, and only about 2,500 people go to jail. So it's a very small amount of people. They're going after the people that are just blatant, the drug dealers, and the people just don't file, and they make 2 million, 5 million a year. There are a lot of people that do that, and they circumvent the tax system. Now, whether you agree that the tax system is constitutional or not is really irrelevant because if you can't argue that point, there's a lot of people that try to argue it, and they end up going to jail or living a life of horror because they're always being chased by the IRS or fear of the IRS. It's just the path of least resistance is to file your tax returns and pay your taxes, okay? So what type of notifications do you get? So there's computer-generated letters that come in the mail, and they're just saying, hey, you haven't filed your tax return, or hey, you have some income you didn't claim on your tax return. You left out a 1099 or a W-2 or some interest income or some dividend income, whatever the case may be. So these are the kind of letters that you get, so you need to address those and not just put them in the drawer and respond to those expeditiously. Otherwise, they just hit you with the tax and penalties, and you may be able to get those penalties abated or removed because they charge interest on penalties, interest on taxes, interest on penalties. So it's pretty substantial, and that could double or triple the amount of tax the alleged tax that you owe. Because do you know that the IRS sent out 100 million notices, computer-generated notices in 2017? Majority of those were erroneous. We do this all the time. We have clients that we get these letters and say, this is not accurate, and we have to respond to it and make sure that it's rectified. But there are millions of taxpayers that pay billions of dollars in untold taxes they should not have had to have paid if they would have fought that and done their homework and addressed it with the IRS. So there's really two areas that you're going to be dealing with. If you're an individual, you're going to be dealing with the wage and income arena, the division we call a wage and income transcript, if you just have W-2 wages. If you're a business, there's a self-employed and small business division that you deal with on payroll taxes and things like that. So there's an area for individual, and an area for the small business owner if you owe corporate income taxes. So examination, if you're dealing with an examination, you're dealing with a revenue agent, okay? Revenue agent. If you're dealing with the collection division, so they've already collected. So an examination officer is there to decide whether your tax return was accurate or not. That's a revenue agent. A revenue officer is a collections officer. So it's already been assessed. The taxes have been assessed. Now they're saying, hey, you owe us X amount of dollars. I need to collect. That's a revenue officer. We call them an RO. So we deal with those people all the time. I'm trying to negotiate on behalf of the taxpayer. And then there's the appeals division. So if you have money that is suspectedly owed, you can appeal that as well. If they're doing we call it a collection due process. And you deal with collections, or a settlement officer, we call it an appeals, right? Then you have a taxpayer advocate service where you can file what's called Form 911 and file for taxpayer advocate. It's a separate area of the IRS. They're not dealing directly with collections, and they try to help people that have a hardship because of this tax collection system that's happening specifically to them. Then, of course, you have the criminal investigation division, and those are called special agents. Yes, I said special agents. That's what they are called. They do carry badges and guns, and those are they go after people that they feel have been criminally negligent, allegedly, and all collection stops with the collection division if there's a criminal investigation, because they have to do their part first before they can try to collect the money. So if you don't know who's contacted you, what we do most of the time we have a letter. They provide us with a letter. We know what's going on. They sign a power of attorney with us, and we reach out and find out what's going on with the file and find out who's doing what and who needs what. So what do we need to do to become compliant so we can prepare those back tax returns, file everything first, figure out what the number is, negotiate a payment, or talk about a collection resolution through an offer and compromise, okay? Sometimes those revenue agents show up at your house, not just a letter, they show up at your house. And I've had clients go, hey, I just had a revenue officer show up at my house. I said, well, what happened? Well, I didn't make some payments on some payroll taxes. Well, okay, so that's what's going on. So we're able to address that and get them off their back, because they can come in and close your business down without a court order. So if you haven't made your payroll taxes, you own a small business, you haven't paid your payroll taxes, that is a very serious issue and very serious for your business going forward. So you need to look at that and control that very closely. And we do that here in our firm on a daily basis. So we talked about the elephant and the trainer, right? Is you need to understand that you're the elephant. Don't let the trainer come in and start dictating what's going on. Take control of the situation, exercise your rights, and things will go a whole lot smoother and you'll sleep a whole lot better. I tell my clients, look, this is when you hire our firm, or if you solve your problem, it's the best sleeping pill that you'll ever have. It's that you'll ever invest in, because it is a life-changing alternative to not doing anything about it. So if you owe $10,000 or more, and you need somebody to walk you through the process, if anything, coach you. And we can come in and show you, look, we'll put a roadmap together, you do this, this, and this, and it'll solve your problem. Give us a call. We'd be more than happy to help you with that. But most people don't want for us to teach them how to do it. They want us to do it because they're so intimidated by the IRS. We're not intimidated by the IRS. Actually, we work very well. We work on behalf of our clients, the taxpayer. But most of the time, if the IRS knows that you're trying to get straight, they'll work with you. But you have to know, but if you don't know your rights, they will steamroll you. So that is the key thing. So give us our office a call at 1-833-921-9977, 833-921-9977. You'll see it in the description below. Or go to our website at myirsdoctor.com. That's myirsdoctor.com, and click on the Contact Us at the top of the homepage and fill in your information, and we'll reach out to you to discuss your specific situation. If this video was empowering to you, we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel and to like our video, so that way other people can benefit from the same information. give us a call. Would love to talk to you about a 30-minute free consultation. And Godspeed, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.